up? What up? What up? What up?
What's happening with you?
Man, I was about to be asleep if that music didn't end.
Man, I'm trying to tell you.
Like this
We is both on
extra
E.
long. This intro is extra long today. This is the Baptist version of the intro.
Remix. It's the remix.
Man, what's happening with you?
How's everybody out there? How's the religiously incorrect world? Come on in. Talk to us.
Howdy, howdy, ho.
Say hello. Say hello.
It's another Sunday night. We took a week off, Pastor Jeff, for Memorial Day, to salute our soldiers.
Yes, sir.
Really, because Jeff was on vacation. That was the real reason. Jeff wasn't saluting anything. But no, it's good to be back, man. And we had another busy week, but we pressed our way. We pressed our way to Sunday night service, Lady Charlene. We used to have to press our way to church on Sunday nights. So we pressed our way to an afternoon service for Pastor Jeff's installation. And we still had a mind to press our way to religiously incorrect Sunday evening service.
We love y'all. We had to get back. Get back. My wife wanted to go out to eat. I said, you know what? You're going to get this double cheeseburger and fries. You know what I mean? It's religiously incorrect.
You better eat this grilled cheese. You better eat these nuggets.
You know what I mean? We got our 10-piece nugget.
Hey, 10 nuggets at Burger King are $1.49.
A McChicken and a McFlurry and called it a day.
Listen. This is what it's all about. Listen, let me open this up right now and say congratulations to my man, my brother, Pastor Jeff Stanford, on your installation at the Progressive Baptist Missionary Baptist Church in Warren, Ohio. Everybody give it up for Pastor Stanford. Beautiful installation service, man. Hey, listen, we're gonna put Jeff's Cash App in the comments. Y'all wasn't here for offering. I ain't playing with y'all. Y'all wasn't here for offering. Y'all need to.
Where's President Harrison? Probably still on his way.
President Harrison, listen, he's about to put a pistol on the table. Pastor Harrison is here. He was about to pull out. He gave him that look.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving till I get this money. He took presidential authority. He said, I'm not leaving until y'all give me this money.
He took his mask off and everything. He's living.
Man, he went Baptist, Kojic, United Holy Church. He took a convocation offering.
Man, big ups. Paramore was phenomenal, man.
Yes.
I love the geography lesson from Pastor Garrett. I mean,
I thought Quimby was a black dude. I thought that's why Quimby Park was named after. I thought Quimby was like the first black person in Warren. But he knows his history.
He broke it down.
He knows his history. He started a whole Black Panther rally at the installation. And yeah, man, it was cool, man. So okay, let's stop on the installation right quick. Jeff has something to say.
This is what I have.
Jeff has something to say. Let's give the floor to Pastor Jeff. He's coming in his own way.
I got something to say. And I'm glad Cam is on because, I saw his little post he made yesterday. I got to talk about LeBron Flames.
Not LeBron Flame.
LaFlop James.
LeBrick James.
Whatever you want to call him. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe he's going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time. Here's my take. Take it as y'all want to take it. Some of y'all are a lot more sports-minded than me, but take it as y'all want to take it. Yes, he will have some of the greatest numbers. I believe with all my heart that LeBron is probably one of the most durable players ever to play the game. And so he's played in more games than anybody else.
Yeah,
so
more minutes.
Obviously going to have more records than anybody. Hell, he don't get hurt. He can't get – for some reason, LeBron can't – he'll flop like he hurt, but he's
a cyborg. He was on the ground for like 2 hours for getting poked in the eye. They had to call like the ICU.
But I mean, I just it's just in my opinion. Let's kill the whole LeBron, Michael Jordan. For me, LeBron, Kobe. He does not have that killer instinct to me. Neither one of these guys have.
Killer instinct. Killer instinct.
It is what
Yeah.
it is, in my opinion.
I mean, what is Anthony Davis? Isn't he at like the Ronald McDonald House now or something? He's at St. Jude's.
Somebody had him wrapped up in all kind of pillows, saying it's the only way you can keep him from getting hurt. Cut them eyelashes, dude.
Oh man, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm questioning how the squad was really built, you know, and maybe they're regretting some of the trades and the moves that were made. But the brother is a talent. He's a freak of an athlete.
Yes.
He is going to be considered a legend and the greatest of his generation. And I prefer to talk about the greatest of a generation because I feel every generation is different and distinct.
Absolutely.
So, but I mean, you got AD up there. I mean, he was, you know, he's like glass legs, man. I mean, this cat, like a little kid, could just run it to him and he just fall over and, you know.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, off court, I mean, there's very few people who can touch him.
Oh yeah. No doubt about it.
He's doing for several communities and for a lot of the youth, you know.
But is this his first time being bounced in the first round?
Yes, it's his first time.
That's commendable, man. I mean, to me, that's that. Now, some people would say, you know, I think, and I am a hardcore Jordan fan. I was a Bulls fan. The Bulls were like Steelers and Bulls for me in the 90s is when I got hooked as a young man. So Bulls, I kind of let go because I was never a true basketball fan. But man, the whole just the mystique that was, you know, coming along when I was about Elias's age, you couldn't deny it. If you weren't really a fan, you were going to be a Bulls fan, you know, if you didn't have a team. But anyway, Michael's trajectory went in a certain direction that he ended up ending his career with all these championships. And we'll just pretend like the Wizards didn't happen. All right. We'll pretend the Wizards just not a part of the canon. The Michael Jordan with the Washington Wizards is like the Apocrypha. It's like the Gospels they took out of the Bible. It didn't really happen. They had a council of the NBA Nicaea, Dr. Cruz, Dela Cruz. They just took it out. But now we're watching somebody who flourished at the beginning but didn't win. Then he won in the middle. And now his ending might not have that kind of ending. And we compare it to Michael, who had the 6 straight championships with the 2-year break because he was banned for gambling, basically. And that's basically the real story. So, but I do believe Mike had the killer instinct and Kobe had the killer instinct. And I really do believe, and you know what? Let's be honest, Jeff. LeBron James, he's the ginger ale of the GOAT discussion. Right. He is the ginger ale. That is the perfect statement, Mark.
I love it, Mark.
We should have brought Mark into this. He's the ginger ale of the GOAT discussion. But let's also say this. LeBron James is a product of his time, and that is a softer and whinier NBA.
Yeah.
You know what, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, Angel. I'm glad you brought up the Knicks because my brother was a hardcore Knicks fan, and and listen, my brother was a hardcore Knicks fan, and boy, was he one heated brother when they kept John Starks, Anthony Mason, Charles Oakley.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
Charles Oakley is a beast. He was a beast. He was still fighting people. He's just a fan. He's just a retired spectator. He just fights people in the stand.
He was just fighting yesterday.
Patrick Ewing, didn't nobody want to guard him because he was the world's ugliest player. He didn't nobody wanted to guard him.
Hey, he had some nice tennis shoes though.
Yeah, he had some tennis shoes for a minute. Yeah, Patrick Ewing. But LeBron is a product, and so is CP3, and so is James Harden. And so is who's the dude that believes in something new every week? The one that was with LeBron in Cleveland. The little dude.
Kyrie.
Kyrie, yeah, he believes like the earth is flat and stuff. And but I'm saying it's a whinier, softer NBA. And honestly, if LeBron was hardened like Jordan was, and even Kobe was, he might have that killer instinct.
Yeah.
I think he might.
I'm gonna tell you what, and I know
he had to come up in a different era to have that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, you're right. But I'm gonna tell you what, and naked people always say something. But we at some point or another, you're gonna have to start putting Steph Curry in some type of conversation. I mean, the dude has literally 4 rings. He's the smallest guy out there on the court.
He shoots from the parking lot.
Right.
He shoots from his living room.
He got another MVP this year. I mean,
he shoots in his driveway on Tuesday and it goes to the net on Wednesday during the game. That's how far his shots be. He shoots the day before and it goes in during the game.
The boy is bad though, man. You just got to give him his props.
Yeah, he's like a human trick shot, man. He's like, he could do his own trick shot videos with just his NBA highlights. So
listen, before we move on, man, I just want to say this, man. Everybody out there, especially those who are watching and those who know the words of prayer, let's keep the young lady who was hit by the car, I think the police was chasing them and they hit the car. Did you see about that?
No, where is this at?
In Youngstown. Matter of fact, they just had a prayer visual for.
This is a few days ago.
Yeah, a few days ago.
Okay, I did hear of that. Yeah, let's remember our sister.
She was pregnant and she lost the baby. And based upon the car, police chasing cars. And I mean, I don't know if we might want to discuss that because I was just told that there was a no chasing these 4-wheelers up here in Warren.
Yeah, I was reading a post about that. No chasing 4-wheelers. Yeah, I mean, and I it goes back. I mean, somebody sent me a message and said we need to have another show about policing. And I'm like, well, you want to make these people mad again? Is that what you really want? You're trying to get us canceled? We're going to get Blue Lives Matter to death. But there's a lot of things that, when you start thinking of collateral damage, and I'm not saying the officer probably had good reason to give chase, and it might not have been chase like we think, reckless chase, but obviously the individual probably just got caught in the middle of a criminal act. And, one thing I want to say about that before we talk about, what we're going to talk about tonight is, a lot of unfortunate things happen when criminal acts take place. Yes. And the police, yes, we want them to have certain protocols and whatever. And, these incidents do help them to adjust protocols, but we got to just place the blame where it lies. You have people doing criminal things, running from the police, doing things they should not do. And there's always an excuse. And I'm even hard on our own community, like, please, can we just stop with making the excuses? I saw the excuses about the 4-wheelers and all. And I literally saw somebody say, don't worry about the 4-wheelers. They could be out selling dope. And they probably are selling dope. But I mean, on the other side, don't worry about people popping wheelies in front of my car and pulling out in traffic in front of me and my children in my car. Don't worry about that.
Let's do something creative, like make a place for them.
Well, let's stop that right now. Okay, Jeff, I'm gonna disagree with you for the first time.
Wait a minute,
somebody said that. Okay, well, you do it and take on the liability.
It's a liability.
I know they exist, but I'm just saying people act like it's so easy. I know it would take somebody. What I'm saying is the citizens who make comment act like we could just do it tomorrow. There's a field over there. Let them go over there. I know what you're saying. Start a real thing where you have to probably get licensed, sign waivers, Exactly. But again, okay, let's be honest, Jeff. Do you really think the dudes that's just riding around the streets in people's backyards are about to pay you money to bring their stuff on the back of a truck somewhere so that they can ride around in a circle and jump over a few ramps or hills or whatever and then drag their stuff back home when they can just ride around Warren for free?
Right. And I mean, I got what you're saying.
There's no market for it.
Honestly, that's really what it's for. I mean,
it's for people who actually live somewhere where you actually ride 4-wheelers.
Right. That's what I'm saying. For me, I don't see what's the fun of riding a 4-wheeler through the street. First of all, they ride horrible.
It looks fun. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it looks fun.
It's not. It's not fun during the streets. It's dangerous, is what it is.
Dangerous fun. Jeff, danger is fun.
Evil is good.
Evil is good. And if you get a piece of evil, let me stop. All right, installation. It's the installation after show. So today, for those that don't know, everybody should still know. Yes, Pat. Yes, Alan. Jeff still has on his Sunday best. He has his bow tie.
I still got on my Sunday's best because today has been named
Jeff Stanford Day. Listen, okay, let me just put this out here. I'm gonna put this out here. Okay. I think Mayor Franklin is going to stay in office until every black person in Warren has their own day.
Listen, Wheeling Crew got a shutdown, Mike.
Elias Day. It's gonna be four-wheeler day. It's gonna be a red and white day. Pookie and Ray Ray Day.
In Youngstown and Ashtabula, but in Warren.
In Warren, if you're black and you have an event, Mayor Franklin is gonna do a proclamation for your 3-year-old's birthday party. Hey y'all, get out them bounce houses. We want to read something real quick. Today is Alizé Day.
No, not the Alizé.
Alizé Gucci Jackson was born. But it's well deserved. It's well deserved. Pastor Jeff Stanford was installed as the pastor of Progressive Baptist Church like 15 years after he started preaching there. He started preaching there in 1997. And because of COVID, he started the ministry back in April of 2020, and we're just now able to have an in-person service, and it was a great service. We, probably the first fellowship or real services, in person, done well. I'm sure just about everybody in there vaccinated and whatnot. Okay, here's a couple of things that I want to observe. First of all, I miss Sunday afternoon services.
Yeah.
I didn't like Sunday afternoon services. I probably won't like Sunday afternoon services in a couple months, but it's just something about nostalgia. Just the idea of coming back in. Everybody is obviously sleepy and tired. Jeff picked the hottest day. He picked like Devil's Day to have this. This is the kind of day where everybody goes to see the point, has a heat stroke at the same time.
Ooh, it was
thank
warm.
God for the air and the fans. But I miss afternoon service where, as I said on Facebook, we're smelling like fried chicken and perfume up in the church. You can tell what everybody ate. Then they try to spray themselves before they come into church and act like, kids is restless, folks halfway asleep.
And the good thing about afternoon services was nobody was mad when you was late. You know what I mean? You could walk in a little late. They just happy you showed up. You know what I mean?
Well, we knew who was gonna be late.
Oh yeah.
Your mother-in-law. I said only Roz would be late to her afternoon service.
She was geared up tonight though, boy. She was fly. She was super
okay.
fly.
Here's the second observation. First time I've seen it in a while. Just the church musicians wandered into church and jamming and playing, just coming in one by one. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Raymond, Ant Riddle, Micah Hall. What's dude on the drums? JD something?
I didn't know him. I didn't know
JD. Rosalind is on here. We owe you a free ad for that. Melvin Howard, of course. You missed that. That's what we grew up on in church. All the musicians just stopping through, supporting their church or choir, whatever.
And it's great. It's great. I mean, it's not great, but it is. They all in that one area. You can't get past them.
You can't get past them.
You love it.
Tripping over cables.
Right.
Yeah. They weren't social distance at all. They weren't social distance at all.
Raymond had the whole setup, the lights.
He had the camera light. I thought that was Riddles. That wasn't Riddles.
I thought it was Raymond's.
I didn't know. We got a. Mike said he found a new outfit for us to wear when it's hot. It's not that clergy short set, is it?
Is that you?
Oh no! Wait a minute! Show is over.
Yes, sir. I love it.
Oh goodness. Oh my. Okay. Show is officially over. I quit. Put that away. I'm deleting it. Let me get in here. I'm deleting this. It's better not make it to Facebook. I know that. It's better not make it to Facebook. Okay. Let's see. What other observations do we want to make about the installation?
I tell you what, man. Just the praise and worship, man. I got a good little shout in.
Yeah. Music was hitting. Music was bumping.
Good little shout. I think if y'all missed it, Toya killed it, man. That Toya killed it, Doc.
Next observation. Thank you for saying that. It felt like a musical because she got up and sang her song. Everybody is just singing along. Everybody is just the choir is just there. That's church, man.
Yes, it is.
That's church.
It is. You directed, sang. You was like multi-task. It was cold, man. You was cold with it, Doc.
Right. Second Baptist showed up. Second Baptist showed up today. I directed from behind the choir. I directed the choir from behind. It was like a magic show trick. It was like a magic trick.
It was like Raymond playing the keys from the back.
Backwards, yeah, on the floor, upside down. I directed the choir from the pulpit. I said, I don't know how we gonna do this. Y'all better know these songs. And did my best to not embarrass you.
Man,
let
me tell y'all. I'm gonna say it like we Baptists. This Negro preached. He talked, teached, told, tailored. He done it all.
Telepathic.
I mean, it was phenomenal.
I forgot to do my pose when Joe introduced me. I forgot to do my pose.
It was absolutely phenomenal, man. The message. I'm sitting in the back office.
He said I threatened the musicians. I didn't know if they knew the song. I was like, y'all know this song, right?
Right.
Raymond was like, I don't know. I'm like, are y'all serious? No, he was filling in for us for the weekend. So we thank Brother Bonner for helping us out, making it happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What were you about to say?
I was sitting in the office waiting for them to, announcers to come out and listening to the praise and worship. And I'm like, I never set my phone up to record.
I wasn't gonna comment on that, but I didn't. So the guy was up there doing something.
And he ended up. Well, what happened was, I guess he went up there and tried to. He was going because my wife took. It's a long story. Put it like this. Anyway, he was supposed to be up there doing it, and he broke the thing. So
we all saw it. We all saw it from we were all watching. We were like, this is not going to end well. We were watching him fool with the tripod, and then we all heard a thump, and we said, "Oh well, he's the tripod now. He's the human tripod." You ever heard of? We need to do a new movie. You ever heard of Human Centipede? It's called Human Tripod. This is when you got to sit in the balcony.
You gotta love him though, because he
did it.
He didn't give up.
He did it. I was looking for it to try to share it. Sister Carter, Elder Carter, is saying she was looking for it. I was looking forward to try to share it, and I'm like, oh, they must not be on. I looked up and saw the tripod was empty. Then I saw him go up, and I said, yeah, this is not going to end well.
I'll share it because he had to do it on his page because my wife tried to get me to get. I couldn't find my phone. Then she tried to get me on her page, and I finally did find my phone. I had to try to log in, all kinds of stuff.
So he has a page?
Yeah, it's just Nate Combs, Nathaniel.
We saying names now on Religiously Incorrect. We had a no name policy for Religiously Incorrect.
That would have been out the window. Nate, Bob, Joe, Jam.
Okay, I found it. So we can share it on our page. It looks like I found it. It's there. I don't know what these other random pictures are. He must have dropped his phone and just started taking pictures. Did he go to somebody else's installation afterward? Okay, I don't know. Okay, so it is on here. So I'm gonna have to check this out. But it was a beautiful service. Hey, Pastor Tatum, I know you guys were in your Eastern New York session. So I'm gonna share it, or Jeff, if you want to share it on your page, it's on there.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about installations in general, Pastor Jeff? I mean, we've been through a few. So we've both been through a few.
We've both been through a few. And that's why we said I think this is a good show for us to do. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about first of all, what exactly is the purpose? And a lot of people ask me, what is the purpose of an installation? Matter of fact, I had somebody inbox me saying no name to bear no blame, since we just said it. Said, I thought you were already a pastor, which you had just explained I was. We had to wait. But generally, the installation comes after you've been selected. So here, what do you think about installations? I just told my wife, even if I have another one, if I ever, Lord knows, I don't ever want to go anywhere
You're
else.
planning another one right now.
I don't want to go anywhere else. I just
You're
like.
typing up a whole nother program right now.
I mean, they're stressful to me.
Well, that's a good segue then, because to me, installation is like the church version of a marriage.
Yeah.
With just a lot more, extra stuff to it. But there's this charge to the pastor and a charge to the church and all of that. Now let's be honest. Like marriage vows, most people don't mean what
they say.
Like marriage vows, most people don't mean what they say. Are you gonna love your pastor? Are you gonna love the people? To have and to hold. Yeah, sure, we will. Sure. But all these people
At the
are
ceremony.
gonna leave.
It's good at the ceremony.
It looks good, it feels good. You invite all your family and friends. You put on, let's be honest, you put on pomp and display that is not your normal engagement and presentation. Let's be honest, it's no different than marriage. People don't walk around in tuxedos and dresses staring into each other's eyes while Ribbon in the Sky plays in the background and little girls. That's not marriage. Neither is an installation in actual church ministry with a pastor. It's not.
Right.
So it comes with the pomp and the regalia, and it's all necessary. And I love how Dr. Dela Cruz said it, a necessary witness, that pastor and people have been joined together in the same way that bride and groom have been joined together. Now, we all end up kind of talking about the same stuff, because here's what's happened. I say this all the time, Pastor Jeff. We are on the other side of history. We are so far down the line. We're basically encouraging the churches to love your pastor and pastors love it. And of course, I got to throw my little 2 cents in the sermons about don't throw rocks at the pastor, don't do this, don't do that. You're basically warning them about stuff that some people are going to do anyway. They can sit there and listen to all that and then have you catching hell in a month over something stupid. So, but again, marriage, wedding ceremony, it's literally, you have a honeymoon and everybody loves you for a while. And then
how long does the honeymoon last? How long does the church honeymoon last?
I want to hear from some pastors on this. I want to hear from some of our pastors. I don't know. I think my honeymoon was about it felt like about a little over a year.
A little over a year.
Like a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years, getting, you got to get all your first holidays in.
Yeah.
First wedding, first big funeral, blessings, first fresh new ideas, the ones that stick, the ones that don't stick. And there's a lot of energy, new people coming to the church. And after that, things settle. People get to know you. And here's the thing. Let's be honest about people getting to know you. We talk about getting to know you as pastor and people, but really they're trying to, I don't want to say trying to, but by natural human conditioning, they get to know how to get their way with you and how to maneuver around you and how to find the weaknesses and the strengths within you, so that now we feel like we're on an equal playing field. Because when the pastor comes in, it's usually all pastor.
Right.
For about 1 to 2. Good, Dr. Dela Cruz. About 1 to 2 years is what Dr. Cruz, but Michael Harrison, President Harrison says 6 months to a year roundabout. And it's all, nobody wants to be the church right away, again, while the spotlight's on them, to say, pastor walked in the door, we were treating him bad from the jump.
Right.
Now, Pastor Tatum had a good one. The minute you mess with one of their sacred cows.
Ooh.
And what I just say, Pastor Jeff, marriage.
Ooh. Absolutely.
The minute you decide you're not going to use that offering table no more, or you're going to remove devotion service, or you're going to change it. And that's for everybody. Let's just be honest. It's just like I said, the minute, I move my wife's couch or something like that, or do something different, or she comes in the house, honeymoon's over. I can't watch the game no more and eat wings every Monday night.
Do you remember at Beulah when I took down the chairs out the pulpit? Woo!
Mutiny.
You done what?
My mama bought that chair in 1762.
Done what?
Yeah, man.
I mean, but you're absolutely right, and she is definitely right. The minute you say, we are now going to have believing woman pastors, or whatever it is,
vote you out.
And it's that argument. It's that first argument. It's that first deacons, trustees, pastor meeting.
Oh yeah,
closed doors.
right. Everybody puts their pistols on the table. Okay, this is funny. So since we're likening installations to marriages now, should churches and pastors, Angel De La Cruz should pop in on this, get pre-installation counseling? Should churches and pastors get pre-installation counseling before they
do the installation?
Well, hey, I mean, we do it when people get engaged, and some things, you know. Because honestly, we're basically getting up and saying a bunch of stuff as pastors. We get up there and we basically kind of fuss and give instructions as if we were counseling y'all.
Right.
And that's why I said what I said at the beginning. I'm like, now that was kind of comedy when nobody knew how long the church was. How long?
I think it was.
They were confused by the way I was wording it. Yeah, they were confused.
Wording. Yeah.
I was literally saying, when's the last time? Almost like when's the last time you had to look for a job? When's the last time you had to look for a pastor? It was 40 years ago, obviously.
Right.
I knew I was right because Pastor Clark had already told me. So I knew I was right. But since they started talking back to me, I'm like, all right, well, let's just have a conversation in the middle of my sermon then. How about that? But no worries. But pastoral counseling, you know, installation counseling, who will be the counselor? Well, I guess it would be, you know, a respectable person that both the church and the pastor respects. And I think that having meetings like that, again, does it do any good, any better than marriage counseling does?
Well, I think it would. I mean, honestly, I think because, you know, I think just as the church is trying to put their best foot forward, so are you as the pastor. You're trying to, you know, impress. You're trying to show them that, you know what I mean, you're not a novice, that, you know, and then you're also trying to, you know, be as, you know, take charge and have a little, you know, and not be this, you know, punk down to everything they say. So I think, you know, having to sit down and having somebody who's experienced, somebody like a Pastor Harrison, or, you know, or somebody who's gone through this, you know, and gone through the ups and downs of it, sitting down and saying, listen, this is what you ought to expect out of your pastor. Pastor, this is what you ought to expect out of people. And I think it would be, I don't think it would be a bad thing.
And you know, be honest, back to the point of, you know, Pastor Wiggins having been there 40 years prior, you know, you have an entire new generation of people, including, you know, some members of your church who are a little elderly and they've been there for a while, but they never had to do this before.
Right.
And they need, you know, guidance and instructions. Just like, you know, I tell people, look, you know, the wedding is a service that I should, you know, tell you what needs to be done. Because just like in marriages, funerals, and different things that we have to officiate, people come up with all kind of ideas that are not proper protocol.
Right.
And so they don't know how to properly do. And somebody could counsel. My dad went through it. I mean, he never did. He did a very simplistic installation in the 90s. I come along. I kind of had to organize everything from what I had learned in other places. And he got a little bit of advice, but I kind of just background took care of everything when I came to Agape. Now, when I came to Second, obviously they've been through it, you know, because they've had like 57 pastors. No, I'm joking. But they have an installation handbook and a countdown clock on their path. No, I'm joking. But you have people who do not know how to, because installations only come around prayerfully only every so often. So I think that could be that way, just like marriage. I mean, I feel like we're literally on a theme here. Expectations are not missed. You know, protocols and out of order things are not done. And, you know, whether it's your denominational president, moderator, thank you, Lady De La Cruz, a bishop, or just an agreed upon, just like a couple who have to agree upon a counselor, because maybe you want to involve somebody that they're not too familiar with and don't really care for or know. And maybe they have somebody in mind. So you have to come to an agreement as pastor and people, because you're not pastor yet until you've been installed. So maybe you come to an agreement on who would be that person. They have to definitely be knowledgeable, wise, know what they're doing. And, I think it could be helpful. I think I might need to offer my services. You know, in the white churches, they do have like church transition and pastoral, you know, and transition teams that go around and churches hire them to consult with them in their pastoral search and process. That's more of an evangelical thing. They do that.
You know, I mean, there's little things. There's little things such as what Pastor Harrison done. This offering is for the pastor. Many churches don't. So, if we just took up a regular offering, who as a pastor wants to say, that's all my money?
Somebody else has to be there to speak for
Yeah,
you and give them protocol.
Somebody needs to make, because you don't want to say that. You know what I mean? You don't want to say, it's natural to give pastors gifts on their installation as well as on their anniversaries. You need a pastoral team there. I mean.
And let's be clear, I think there's two dynamics that work with this, is that some people are trying to sort of, some people are ignorant. And when I say ignorant, I don't mean stupid or dumb. They've just never been there before. They're ignorant of the process and what might be appropriate. Other people are sort of adverse to not wanting to come off as extravagant or worshiping a man or whatever, would be, because they see, overkill. Right. And they see people going over, like, okay, we're going to buy the pastor a Benz, and we all, all this kind of, like literally over the top. So again, wise counsel, appropriate celebration, celebrate the person who's going to be serving you, and be with you, and show how to do that appropriately to show your love. Just like, hey, we talk as men about how to buy things for our wives and what would they appreciate, what would they like. All right, dog, teddy bears ain't doing it no more. High school is over. I'm saying, you at your 20th anniversary still buying teddy bears and that one rose from the dude on the corner by the gas station. You're not gonna make it to 21. Year 21.
What do you feel about the people? Because obviously we pick, as pastors, pick the people who we want there. And I've been to installations where they've had literally every pastor in the community there. And, I thought tonight was very, great. The people I had there are really close. They're close to me.
Yeah.
And, I think that's very important to have those who know you in that type of capacity, as far as speak on your behalf and speak to you and give that charge, and to actually be there to, maybe not, at all times, but to actually hold you accountable for what you have said and what you are doing. I really took into consideration this time, and inviting people and bringing people who I really, trust and admire and, love their lives that they're living. So,
right. Pandemic, obviously helps us to be a little bit more selective, because we knew that, there would be limitations on audience. So you're being a little bit, selective about who you and who's meaningful to you. Right. And, events like anniversaries, installations especially, is probably just, again, back to marriages and funerals and other public services. People come to be, rubberneckers, to be onlookers. I think that word that Dr. Dela Cruz used earlier about the witness, the necessary witness, not only do you need a necessary witness of the church and community, but of the preaching corps, the ministers of the city. And I will say openly, and you can get mad at me if you want to, the city in which we live and minister is not known for just showing up to support. The Youngstown churches, and one I love, Pastor. I mean, I just go straight down the line, and I'm saying this out of love and not knocking. I'm not knocking, because I've been well loved in Warren and have grown up playing and preaching in Warren as well. But honestly, is a different dynamic in Youngstown. I mean, if I preach at Pastor Pettis' for a revival that week, all the pastors in Warren coming through at least one night. Right. If some major change or transition is happening in one of the churches in Youngstown, just about all the Baptist pastors or Kojic pastors are going to come through. And that's how I got to know Bowie and Harrison and, Hurd and, so many others, McKee when he was here, and Pettis, and, just meeting all these new faces. So that's difficult, to see. So I'm glad that the people were there that support. We had Pastor Joe Walker, who is our IMA president, and we all know everybody can't come and won't come because of the times we live in. So we're grateful for our good friend, Pastor Joe, who represents the Ministerial Alliance. People that we know like Derek, and your cousin Tracy, Pastor Tracy, being there. So I think it was meaningful, and the people that were there meant something to you.
And just a big shout out, and a lot of people probably didn't know, Bishop Sheriffs all the way from Toledo, man. He drove all the way
Yeah,
up there.
I'm like,
It
dude.
was phenomenal, man.
You know, if I had known, to be honest, I didn't know how far he had driven. We definitely, you know, that's me dropping the ball, because I feel like you shouldn't have to think about everything. We should have probably fed him or something, man. I mean, I don't know if he had to get back on the road and get out of here, but
he had said he was jumping back on the road. And
I have a message to pass to you. I have a message to pass to you. Bishop Paramore wanted me to tell you at offering time that he needs his money back. That is a certified message. That is a certified message from
listen.
Bishop Paramore said, "Hey, tell Jeff on the show tonight." He said, "Tell him on the show I need my money back."
If it's one person's money, I ain't playing with his Paramore's.
Right, he will come get it.
I will send it. I will YouTube it, send it, email it, something.
Yeah. So he said, "Hey, I'm doing this old school. I'm giving this offering for show. I need to see you in the office after this is over. I let off with 500, but I need to go home with 450."
I've seen that before.
Listen. Can we pull back the curtain right quick? Some of these big name, big dollar offerings that they be bragging about in the pulpit be some jokes, boy. It's some crowd manipulation. Manipulation. I'm giving 500. Nah, Doc, you walking back home with $425.
I've watched somebody say, "Do y'all love y'all pastor? Do y'all really love y'all pastor? I want y'all to get an offering." And then we went back to the room and said, "I want half that offering.
I want half that off." Yeah. You wouldn't have had that, but it had to been me.
Right.
So Mark Raines has a question. By the way, you can ask questions. We're discussing installations, pastoral transitions, you know, choosing a pastor, the process of going through honeymoons. Mark Raines has a question. One of our top viewers: is there a way for a church to be totally spiritually led and follow a democratic model? That's something I've struggled with.
Wow.
I don't know, Pastor Jeff. What do you think?
Well, I don't think you can follow a total Democratic model or a Republican model. I think you have to be wise enough.
What are we talking about? Politics?
Well, no, I'm saying, not really Republican model, but I'm just saying we have to, no, seriously.
No, Mike is cracking up. He's making faces over here. I can't, go ahead.
No, sir. I mean, it's very difficult to do that, to follow either way. I mean,
well, let's be clear. The Bible really does show us leader-led models: prophet, priest, king, apostle, whatever. And it also shows us collective-led models. It seemed good to us to do this. We chose together men of good report. There are examples in the Bible of people coming to spiritual decisions by collective means. And so that's why I said in the sermon, there are some things that aren't going to be voted on. And notice I didn't even say choosing the pastor. I said things like who God will accept, who God can save, I'm not going to step on the toes. And by the way, walking into other folks' church and telling them what to do, not about to do that. You keep it very general and biblical. Exactly. But I have watched people go into churches, George Johnson, and tell people that deacons
shouldn't say nothing.
Y'all don't run this church. You don't vote on nothing. And I'm like, yo, if your model is to be the prophetic leader, the pastoral leader of the church, and I was raised, of course, kind of that kind of spot, but coming from that angle, I think there is a hybrid. I think the Bible shows us a bit of a hybrid model. I think there are some times where the word of the Lord, the vision comes from the pastor, the people execute, and there are other times and spaces for things to be done collectively. Now, can we discount that people really can be on the same spiritual page? Maybe we're so obsessed with people disagreeing that we really don't often see or acknowledge when the church really is on the same spiritual page and they are making a collective spiritual decision.
I think you should. I think more oftentimes than not, a lot of times they are on the same spiritual page. I
think we're looking for too much out of it sometimes. I think we're looking for like everybody fell on the floor and got the same prophecy at the same time. And then we jump up and do this, that, the other, and we all had the same name in our mind. It don't happen like that.
And I think even sometimes when there may be a couple. I think it has to go to the, a general, how many, if we have this many people feel like this and only this many people feel like this, we still can go with that rule. You know what I mean?
Well, there's nothing wrong with having some sense of majority, and you're calling
Yeah,
upon, and
the
again,
majority.
as Dr. Dela Cruz said, the Presbyterian Church has a democratic model. Many others do. They usually appoint some sort of church council or, governing body. Again, I know the words and terminology might be different in a lot of people, and there are a lot of horror stories. A lot of horror stories about factions, groups, you know, uh, disputes, dissensions, guns being pulled in meetings, people, we had a, I can't even tell the story, you know, basically, preparing people for these votes before they even get there, prepping them, politicking,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so I think honestly, like for instance, at Second, there's been some things where I'm casting the vision. We are voting on it, but it's really more of an affirmation of the vision. And I'm not looking for people to turn cartwheels, because you know what? People can turn cartwheels over that and pretend like they're all collectively doing it. And then when it's time to pay the money, write the check, show up to the service, do the work, they're not there. So the proof is in the pudding of whether you're collectively spiritually moving forward is, are you actually moving forward together when the work needs to be done? Not did you have a good meeting and everybody agree with each other?
Well, and sometimes you don't need everybody to agree. I mean, sometimes there's an outside somebody. There's somebody that needs to say, somebody may think differently, and that person thinking differently may help the collective. So
and it's okay.
Yeah, what's your opinion? Don't just sit back and be quiet like, I'm just going to agree with everything. No.
Or be quiet and not agree, but kind of ice out the conversation. Like, I'm going to show my distaste by not actually giving an opinion,
right,
or any sort of or alternative idea, or say, hey, if I don't want to spend the money on the pews, hey, I don't think that's necessary, but I see our parking lot's really tore up. How about we do that? Say something. And but I think people are afraid because they've been through these years of dissension and division, and pastors have blacklisted people who disagree with them.
Absolutely. Well, what I said the other day in the meeting we had, I said, right in the meeting, I said, listen, if y'all disagree, if y'all don't like it, say it now.
Say something.
Side meeting. Don't have a side meeting.
Do not text each other.
Then y'all texting each other. And it's gonna get back to me. It's gonna get back. They're gonna say, they ain't gonna say what they said, but they're gonna
somebody else said. People are saying.
Yeah. So I mean,
use be people. That's the answer. You are people. But I think that there's space and room for it, and but it also goes back to sometimes the way we term things, and this goes back to installations being called to churches and all. We term things in such spiritual terminology in everything. God didn't tell you what type brand of mics to buy, and you start spiritualizing everything, then people are afraid to go up against, or they end up second guessing what is being painted as a spiritual decision, when quite frankly, it's just a practical decision or the best idea you can think of in your capability to move the church forward in a particular area. There's just some stuff I'm like, you know what? God didn't tell me we need a lift on the stairs. We just need a lift on the stairs because I want to struggle walking up the stairs. Right. Now, if you disagree with that or the way it ought to go, well, then, that's fine. But back to that toxic thing, and thank you, President Harrison, for saying you have to earn their trust. Not only do we have to, thank you, we earn their trust to know that they can come to us, but then we also break down the barriers of how they feel things will go, as opposed to how we really are trying to lead. And there are people who have been, I had to say this with my first major decision at Second, not too many months after going into the church and looking at our services and going down to one service. A lot of people really love that 8 a.m. service, and, few in number, but devoted, faithful, giving, like to get in and get out. And I said to them, not to throw any shade on my predecessor, who I love, because it's really not about him, but sometimes other church people. If you don't agree with this decision, I don't consider you an enemy. If you have a hard time struggling with this, if I don't see you for a few weeks because you feel in some kind of way about it, hey, change is always difficult. Yeah. Maybe you'll adjust to it. Maybe you'll come to acceptance later. And we forget that people can disagree on the front end. And after time, maybe they're won over when they see something working out
Yeah.
the way they didn't expect it. Or maybe they realize it's not as bad as they thought it would be. Or maybe others encourage them. So we have to give that time and stop thinking, hey, well, you don't feel everything I'm trying to do, then forget y'all. You know.
Well, let me ask you this, man. How much time do you feel, and you said it, I'm pretty sure it was you who said it, living in the shadow of your predecessor, living in the shadow of my predecessor.
Bro,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, because you know you're gonna have people, like you said, he was there 40 years, so you're gonna have people who, you know, well, Wiggins did it, Wiggins did this, you know what I mean? You don't. First of all, I don't want to hear it, but I mean,
and let's be honest, that's blunt talk, and it's not disrespectful talk. It's just
right.
Well, let me put it like this: we both come after two longtime pastors who basically really had their stamp on the church in this modern era, no doubt about it. Dr. Hearns and Pastor Wiggins, Dr. Wiggins, and you know, I loved him, man, because I'm about to say a word. Because the first time I preached for him, he was still fellowshipping over at a Community, and he came to a service when I preached at Community. And when I got done, of course, little young, crazy, sweating preacher, you know, just going. And I went and sat down, and he hit Elder Shaw. He hit Elder Shaw and said, "That nigga preached." But I've known his grandchildren, and I've known his family, and came up with his grandson, so you know him well. But you do live in the shadow. And I think we have to accept the reality of the shadow. You know, instead of trying to fight it all the time. First of all, I wanted to know how things were done. Sometimes I would get frustrated when people couldn't give me a straight or consistent answer about how things were done. And I'm like, okay, so it's Christmas time, which I usually do, you know, or when's the last time you had a revival or something? How was it done? You know, whatever. You know, when things happen and you got to decide to do a funeral for somebody, maybe not a minute. Well, how do y'all kind of normally handle this? You know, and then you kind of decide how you want to do it. So I want to know in some ways, but then you make clear that with no disrespect, you did not rehire your old pastor. You did call a new pastor to the church. And so everybody says at the beginning, tell us your vision. We want to know what your vision for the church is.
Right.
I think we need to cut that out. I really do. Maybe ask like what your ministry focuses are, or have some directed questions about maybe what your style is, or are you really an outreach person? Are you a flat-footed preacher? But this tell us your vision stuff. Dude, I want to knock the whole place down and rebuild it, to be honest. I mean, you want the real burn this sucker and start again. But I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying everybody has dreams. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has ideals. And they walk in like, I think we could do this, and this, all this energy. That's almost the worst time to ask somebody their vision, honestly, because you're just so full of, you know.
And it's very difficult because, you know, you don't really know the church to even give the vision.
Yeah.
You have a vision of what you like, or, you know, of who you are and with the sense of what you can do. But until you know who you have with you, who you have working with you and for you, and so you know, put it like this, I'm an evangelistic person. I love to go out, but you got 50 old people.
Oh yeah, man. I'm not expecting elderly people to get on their canes.
You can't say we're about to take the neighborhood. We're about to all go out and walk the streets.
Right.
You in your wheelchair can't come out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So Bowie said it great. Pastor Bowie said it great. They asked me, and I told them I don't have a vision for the church because I don't know you. Bowie went in there talking about stranger danger. Stranger.
I totally agree with you, Bowie.
I did the opposite, man. And some stuff worked, some stuff didn't. I fell on my face with a few things with vision and stuff like that. But I want to go back to the previous pastor in the shadow. It depends on how it went, and let's just be honest, without being disrespectful. It depends on how it ends.
Yeah.
If it kind of ends with a whimper, or with frustration, or with fighting, or whatever, usually the church is primed for, someone and newness. And honestly, they want somebody different than what they had.
Yeah.
A lot of churches, including both of our churches, be honest, they think, hey, we need fresh energy, we need a younger voice, we want people who can relate to this, generation. I don't think they always think about what that actually means. Because if you really want me to relate to the generation, then
right,
that could mean a very transformative shift. And what that person did, for instance, my predecessor was very high in education, incredibly high, astute in teaching, considered himself, of the upper echelon, and certainly could intimidate me with a few scriptures. No doubt about it. I mean, the man could definitely, preach himself out of prison, basically. But I'm not that guy. I think I teach the word of God. But if you're looking for a professor, I'm not a professor. I'm not going to do that. I'm not here to have an institute. What he instituted, keep on rolling with it. Those that have been teaching and got the stuff, keep on rolling. But also how it ends, Jeff. If it didn't end well, if it ended frustrated, some people stayed too long. Some people got older, or maybe just time caught up with them and they were not able to perform and do as they were able to do, But here's the other part that we keep forgetting about: the gap.
How long the gap is
between the predecessor and then that church is in a wilderness, and the church doesn't have a pastor, but they have a pastor.
Right. You always got to find out.
And I've heard it said, yeah, we've had on the show, you got to come in and find out who the pastor is. Some people say you got to kill the pastor. But somebody has been holding it together. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying, they're running, but some people are running stuff. Some people are holding things together, and they are more dependent on and more looked to, at least initially, until you are, or people pit you as the new official pastor against whoever or whomever's were actually holding it together, as if you're the respite from them. So there's a lot of like, oh, you here now, so we don't got to listen to Deacon so no more. We don't have to listen to whoever was cutting the whatever it might be. That's just what we got to wrestle with, and either work with people, maybe find out if it's a toxic situation, just not as healthy or knowledgeable as it ought to be, and see where we can perhaps meet, and maybe where we can't.
Just to go back to what you said a few minutes ago, I think they really, a lot of these churches really need to watch when they say, you want to bring in somebody youthful and fresh, and, because when we start implementing these ideas and start taking charge and, saying, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. First of all, are y'all going to be there for all these youthful ideas?
Right. We're going to have Kanye Sunday. We're going to have Kanye Sunday. We're going to have
not Kanye.
We're going to have Cannabis Church.
Jesus Walks.
Our sermons be stuff they don't understand. We be like, all right, man, today's message is no cap. Jesus is real, no cap.
I ain't mad at you.
But yeah. I mean, it takes a lot, and there are realities we all have to wrestle with when we're stepping into and again, those realities are often not reflected unless you're going to be real honest. Nobody wants to be real honest at an installation because we want to celebrate, but we all know that there is great challenge ahead. I don't think anybody's delusional about that. So I like knowing, and I think it was I'm looking for the comment that Alan left about knowing your predecessor and honoring them. What I started doing, and I'll be honest, it was not a pleasant transition towards the end of my predecessor's tenure. There's really no secret, but I made my way in mentioning him and letting people know how I feel about him, and kind of trying to soften that and reminding the church, because we're the ones that's here. He's somewhere else. Right. We're the ones that have to love each other, but also perhaps work on our own hearts about how we feel about how things might have went and what could have been different and all the other stuff. You got to let that go if you're going to move forward.
And before we bring Big Mike in, can I just say, can we get over the fact that, stop thinking that because we're Baptist, we ain't about to church, whether it's installation, whether it's a regular service, whether it's Pastor Harrison's church, Pastor Todd's Second Baptist, Bowie's church, we are, and let's be real honest. Some of them old hymns, with Pastor Harrison done today, even the one you done at the end, I mean, they will take a church in,
Bring back the hymns. I'm saying it.
We gotta do Ty Tribbett to have church,
Bring back the hymns. And I'll be honest, okay, so if I did have one thing, I wish we had done some sort of anthem or hymn, because I think it would, at the beginning, I think it would have added to, and let me just say one more thing, and I will give it's not a critique, it's over and done with now. I do think that whenever you do an installation of the church, you want to honor the people and involve them, even if it's a little like, all right, this is how we do. Because, I had to tell my church, because there's the influx of people who were coming in. The influx of people who came in didn't vote me in.
Right.
You voted me in.
Yeah.
And I didn't choose to come to the church based off the bump and the jump that we developed a year or two down the line. I came based off hearing these hymns, these anthems, these doxologies, the way offering's done. Now, if I have shifts in mind or God lays on my, that's one thing. But I think it adds in installations to the gravity and the severity. And I'm glad Dr. Harrison did what he did. And it reminds the church of who it is. And there's nothing wrong with knowing your DNA.
Absolutely.
There is nothing wrong with knowing who you are. And it doesn't mean that you force people. But let's just be honest. Okay, we're not talking about worship styles tonight, but the new way is being forced on the old folk.
Right.
I'm sure there was people in your audience tonight that were like, all right, we don't really know these songs like this. They might have heard them somewhere, the jam and the band. That's obviously not a regular progressive service every single Sunday. Right. Grateful for it. I mean, of course, I know it. I could see the energy, the worship. I got to commend Progressive Baptists. They were ready to worship, on fire, appreciative. It makes me feel, personally, just watching as a casual observer, that when you get to that place where the personnel is starting to get built up in the praise team, that the energy is going to be there. Right. But the balance is so paramount. Like, we know where we're going, but we haven't forgotten who we are. Mm-hmm. And I had people tell me, oh, man, you're going to flip it all upside down in second year. Nah, we doing this opening hymn. Matter of fact, I'm singing it myself, because it was so important for the people to see me enjoying them, enjoying what is native to that house, because I genuinely did. And they developed a deeper love in me for some of the traditions of the church that I'm grateful for, that we can always update and remix and reflex. But it's like, if you don't have a tradition, like, what are you remixing? What are you actually updating if you throw it all out? If you don't have an original track, you ain't got no sample.
Yeah, I had to learn them, because obviously, from whether it was Agape, whether it was Beulah, because when I got to Beulah, it switched real quick when I got to Beulah. We went from old school to straight modern pretty quick, over there. So
if I would encourage anybody, and we got to do a worship show soon, before we're going to bring Big Mike in, and I'd love to bring some young cats on, or maybe just talk about how there is nothing greater you can do for the church with all the talent, all the gifting, all the skills, all of the advancement, the sincerity, the discernment, the new sounds, the new approach, than really give excellence to the traditional songs of the church. And don't even remix it with your own beat. Sing it and play it the way it's meant to be played. You want to take a church up? We shouted last week off of doxology. Praise God, from whom all blessings flow.
Hey, I start listening to E. Dewey Smith. And he will kill a church.
Kill a hymn. Kill a hymn.
And it will kill.
There's nothing more powerful. And honestly, we've had several musical guests who have said the same thing. Too much of our music and our approach is becoming so cookie cutter. And I'm not saying you are cookie cutter or that your sound is not important. I'm saying that it lacks the color.
Yeah.
It lacks the fabric. It lacks the depth. And when I say depth, I'm not saying you're not deep as a worshiper. I'm saying it lacks the depth of its connection with the church and who we are. We are not in a vacuum. We are living between eternities. We're worshiping between history and eternity.
Yes.
And so it is not, you don't need to remix Beethoven. Beethoven is good by itself. Thomas Dorsey is good by itself. And I'm lamenting the loss of soul. That's why I'm never going to stop hooping, because Black people need to have soul somewhere in their lives. Most of our stars, most of our singers, they sing, and you can catch it. I crap on Beyonce when she sings songs like Precious Lord. She don't sound like she has soul. You need to give me a Lettucey or a Fantasia or Jennifer Hudson, somebody that looks like they eat fried chicken and greens on Sunday afternoon after church and got them little jiggly arms. Even when they lose weight, they still got that jiggle. That's soul. And the church is our source of soul. And from installation to preaching to singing, and even as we move the church forward, and you know this, Pastor Jeff, we'll never lose the soul of our churches. The Progressive Baptist Church, your people will come in and say, wow, look at how they've added this or done this or updated that, but they'll always feel at home.
Absolutely.
You know, they say home is where the heart is for Black folk. Home is where the soul is.
Absolutely. I want it to stay just like that. I want it to stay with that soul. And you know, I'm gonna try to do a little hoop. I ain't gonna do a hoop.
Funny thing about soul and these women before we bring Mike in. I finally get to preach down in Columbus. My buddy TJ Dooley, new friend of mine, got me coming down for something in a couple of weeks. He said, you know, honorarium, da-da-da-da, what do you want? Man, of course, nothing. You know, I don't have that. But yo, I will take a chicken dinner, but only if the church mother has got the look to make a good after church chicken dinner.
Big mom.
Arms got to be flapping, has to be walking around the church kitchen with slippers on, and just smell like fried chicken all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If that person's doing the cooking, you got a brother for life.
Absolutely.
Hey, we didn't do ads tonight. I was waiting on the message to do ads. Mike, let's pop our ads up. Let's knock our ads out, and then we'll do bring in Big Mike. First of all, I want to thank the Phillips Care family of businesses. Phillips Care Cleaning Service. They do residential and commercial floor cleaning, basic cleaning, deep cleaning, carpet upholstery. Y'all can read. I ain't saying no more. Don't waste your time. Let them do it. Call 330-219-7916 or find them on Facebook at Phillips Care. Come on and hit the next one. Phillips Care Lawn Services. Lawn care starting at $30. We've been in business for over 10 years. Trumbull, Mahoning County. Again, this is the Phillips Care family of businesses. Hit my boy Fernando up online at Phillips Care or 330-219-7916. You listen. I love this comment from Shelley Lewis. Coming from the Reverend Troy era, cannot adjust to the new contemporary in the church. The new music sounds like R&B. Fair point. It does a lot. You can or cannot accept Beyonce singing Mahalia Jackson. I cannot personally. I cannot accept Beyonce. At least I have a problem with people pretending as if she is carrying the soul of Mahalia, because she's absolutely not. She has a different gift. You know, it's like Michael Jackson trying to be James Cleveland. You're just not.
Yeah.
You're just not. You're something else, but you're not that. But no, I mean, I understand. And Pastor Jeff, we have to understand we are a multi-generational church, and older generations are a part of that multi-generational. So you have your elderlies, your baby boomers, your middle-aged. They all grew up in the same type of church. So everybody can't be chasing after you, because they're going to stop chasing. They're going to sit down somewhere.
And I think that we all have to give space for one another. We can't, I mean, it's very difficult to bring all those, we call it melting pot, and bring all of them together. But, you know, we do want to make room for the youth too. We do.
But I'll tell you honestly, I see the old people making more space than the young people are.
Absolutely.
Old people are making more space than young people are, and I will take that to the grave.
Yeah.
Young people, if the song's not going their way, if the service isn't flowing like they wanted to, if it gets too old school, they tune out quickly.
Absolutely.
And obviously immaturely too. Let me just throw that out there. Immaturely.
I totally agree.
Make it known they ain't feeling it.
Yep. They'll say it. We ain't feeling that. We ain't
feeling it. Here they come. Yeah, here we come. We birthed y'all. Sit down somewhere while you're still wet behind. Okay, come on, Big Mike. Come on, Big Mike. What's happening? Mike came to church tonight with his Trojan convocation suit.
Mike had on that suit, boy. Mike had that suit on.
Mike was headed to Memphis. I should have took a picture of him. Mike was headed to Memphis. Mother Marsh over there looking like all she needed was a hat. A big old white. She's ready for women in white.
Hey, I like to get G'd up every now and then. You know, can't wear sweats and hoodies all the time.
Yeah, right. How you feeling, man? What's your thoughts?
Good, man. Pastor Jeff, congratulations on the installation, man. I really enjoyed the service. Pastor Todd, bro, you just preached, man. You just preached. Real good message. Timely, right subject matter, the whole nine, man. It was a great service. And I have to say, I mean, I haven't been to church in a while. I don't go every week. God forgive me. But there's nothing like black gospel music.
Nothing like it.
There's nothing like it, man. There's
Live
nothing
in
like it.
person.
Live in person.
Nothing like it.
Nothing like it, man. Nothing like it.
You can watch it again on, the YouTube, the Facebook Live. It is not the same.
No, it's not.
Studio recreations, movie scenes. Them Grammy tributes where they let Kirk and Yolanda come out and sing two lines of the song. You need at least 4 minutes to fall out. What are you?
Right.
You need like 8 minutes to stand to fall out by Donnie McClurkin, and that one little line ain't doing it at the Billboard Music Awards.
Let me tell you, man. Listen, I tried to do a shout today. Boy, I got tired in the mud.
You was winded, huh?
I said, boy, this weight is serious.
You better two-step it.
That's funny. But yeah, great service, man. Great service. I really enjoyed myself. And speaking of the black gospel music, it's something about that Hammond B3 live, man. It just do something to you. Just do something to you. Yeah, man.
It has to be. It's like a Waffle House. The dirtier it is, the better it plays. Hammond B3s are like the Waffle House of gospel music. The dirtier it is, the better it is. A good Hammond organ has like this layer of dust and grime inside of the speakers. It probably got COVID in there for all we know. It probably where we got COVID from.
The Leslie half work.
Yeah, Leslie halfway work. It's squeaking. You gotta kick the thing to change it. Shake the pedals. You gotta shake. You know how much work it is to play an organ. You gotta shake the pedals, tune it, bring a screwdriver to church, hot wire that sucker.
Man.
Mine just started buzzing by itself at 8 o'clock service. It just started talking by itself.
But yeah, the whole vibe of the black church experience, period, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah,
there's nothing like it. But that's all I have. That's all I have, man.
Yeah, we celebrate you, Pastor Jeff and Lady Tiffany and Christian Cole, looking dapper. My boys had their black suits on. I wish they need to take a picture together before they grow out of their suits.
They do. I got every old picture of it, man. Matter of fact, one came up today when we all went to the zoo. Him and Elias, it was crazy, man.
It is something.
Have your sons start wearing? Do they? Because he had to get a man's suit. Go to the grown man's section to get his suit.
Nah, Elias is on his way, but not yet.
I was mad, dude.
You paid him men's prices.
Yes, sir. I was like, this. You need a job for real.
Listen, you better look up wish.com. I almost bought a robe off Wish for like $20.
His white shirt was $40, man. A regular white shirt.
No, he was just gonna dress down for me. He just have to dress down in my world. God bless you, Pat. You worked them long hours, Doc. God bless you. There go your offering.
Mike,
y'all want to see?
Today is Jeff Stanford Day, so I will not be at work next year. Mike performing out there. But
according to Mayor Franklin, it's a national holiday.
Service. This is June 6th. I will not be at work.
It's a national holiday now. From here on out.
I got you, bro.
From here on out. Well, hey, any more questions or comments you'd like us to share or give our uninformed and ignorant opinions on? We'd be happy to. But I just want to say, Pastor Jeff, I'm proud of you. We are all on a journey together, and it's just amazing watching how God moves us through all the twists and turns of life. Progressive really are good people. Progressive Baptists know most of them all my life, but they've known me, would probably be the better way to say it. Right. They've known me all my life. They start calling me by my daddy's nickname. Folk know you. They know folk know you. So it was good, man.
Do you guys want to see Todd's summer outfit one more time?
Okay. You know what? Nobody wants to see my summer outfit. Where did you come up with this?
Me and Larry did it, man, a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, man, I'm getting Larry, man. I'm getting Larry.
That is great. That is great.
I knew he was being quiet for a reason. I knew he was
Hey fans, y'all, we got some fire coming up for y'all. We got some fire. So make sure y'all keep on tuning in. We got some stuff coming up, man.
Share, follow. Our new I can't stand y'all. I can't stand none of y'all. Listen, Tatum, Berean doesn't need to know about this. That's all I gotta say. Don't tell Bishop. Don't tell me. I do want to say I had a chance to go to Columbus and see. Yeah, Mike, Pastor Jeff's. We saw your mom today. She was in church. Michael Irvin Walker is on from our last show.
Okay.
Yeah. Your mom was there, Michael, and she was reminding us that she was so proud of you on the show. So yeah, he's the pastor of Progressive now on the east side of Warren. Tatum said, "Send me that pic." So
I can't do that.
Hey, I went to Columbus and saw Pastor Clark, Bishop Clark, for the first time in almost 2 years. It feels like, man. Thank God COVID is coming to an end, because I know we probably all got people we want to see, all got people we love, getting back to church and all of that stuff. It was just a blessing to wrap your arms around somebody you hadn't seen in so long. So, let's keep it going. Hey, we look forward to getting back to in-person shows.
That's it.
We about to cut up. We about to act a fool.
We coming up on 2 years, right?
We need to do a live 2-year anniversary show.
Oh yeah, we are. I'm planning it already.
We need to do a live 2-year anniversry show.
So Pastor Harrison, get ready.
Yeah, we want a live studio audience.
Tatum Osborne, get ready.
We're gonna be throwing T-shirts at people, and
it's on.
Like, look under your seat. It's a chicken wing. All kind of stuff.
Can we have it at Skipper's?
There you go.
You just got installed.
Right.
You just got installed.
You messing up already.
Hey, listen, we're trying to get new members.
Yeah, I bet you are. You are.
Right. You trying to get new members, all right.
You trying to get a whole new dance ministry. That's cold-blooded. If you don't live in the area, you wouldn't know. But if you live in Warren, you already know. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in and joining us. It's been a long weekend for everybody. All of us have been super busy. We're glad to see you again. Can't wait for next week. I don't even know what the show's going to be about, but we know it's going to be fire. We know it's going to be hot. We always bring it. Like, share, tag, follow on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We love y'all. Anything you want to say, Jeff? You get the benediction tonight.
I'm sorry. I just my wife just came downstairs. Y'all don't know how good a pregnant woman look in a robe.
Lord, never mind. Let him go, Mike. Let him go.
We out.
We out. Put on Luther Vandross. Put on Lufa.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace out, y'all.
See you next week.